we have been joined by New York-born and self-taught professional chef Kolawole Dosumu, a.k.a. you know him already. He's been on the show many times, Chef KD Prime. Now, we're going to be having a very interesting conversation. He's a very avid biker, by the way. Of course, you guys know this as well. And a lover of fast cars, and also the executive director of a British engineering firm operating here in Lagos and in Port Harcourt. You're welcome once again, KD Prime. Good to have you on the studio and the set. But let's get to know you. Everybody was excited. Everybody's always excited when you are on our set for the chef bit. We love your food. We love your breakfast borderline expressions and all of that. So people wanted to get to know you more. Who or what makes up Chef KD Prime? Now, you are an engineer, and while I knew this from before, I thought that you had shelved that to focus on the cooking. But apparently you juggle these two. How does that work with you?
Funny enough, let's take it back a bit. I started out as a banker, actually.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as a banker for 7 years.
Okay.
Crossed over into engineering. Taught myself engineering.
Wow.
Started my own engineering company. Then in between, I've been cooking all through. Started cooking when I was 7 years old.
Wow.
Which was 41 years ago.
Okay, now you know.
In 2016, I started thinking of what would I do for retirement, because there will come a time that you can't hold spanners anymore.
Yeah.
So I thought to myself, what can I do? And cooking was it. So that's how I now went into cooking. But my engineering business has always been in the background.
Wow, that's very interesting.
I mean, when I was a kid, I read finance and investments.
Okay.
Hated it.
Okay.
But when I was a kid, I was always working with toy cars, taking them apart, putting them back together
again.
So crossing over into engineering for me, and not to make light of engineering as a profession, because I'm sure there are a lot of people out there, waiting, but it was natural for me, because I like fixing things. I like tangible things.
Now, when you say you taught yourself engineering, you did get certification and all of that. Yeah. How exactly do you mean you taught yourself engineering?
I learned in high school in the US, I did an automotive course in 1987. And that's when I found out how engines worked. And I found it so fascinating. So I actually started servicing cars and working on cars and bikes as far back as then. So when I started the engineering bit, working on forklifts and cranes, the transition was not that crazy to me. It was just a larger scale.
I get you.
Of the same basic things. Which
is very funny. I remember back in the 80s, my dad would actually send my brother off to an electrician's shop to just learn stuff. And I'm like, why are you sending him there? He's going to school now. But that's something that parents of nowadays actually don't do anymore. Yeah. Vocations and how that can actually bring out a passion in a child. I would love to. I would have loved to have been sent, but my father thought, the youngest kid, no, he will pamper you.
Last born.
But in any case, you also brushed on what I was going to talk about next. Our love for bikes and fast cars is also part of your multifaceted, fascinating self.
Yes.
When did you, well, I guess you already talked about when you fell in love with bikes, but let's hear that again. When did you actually fall in love with bikes, especially?
It was spring break 1991, and I was watching a game show. And a woman won 2 motorcycles. Okay. And the game show host asked her, do you know how to ride? And she goes, no, I don't. And I was like, damn. I can say that in the morning, right?
No, but you already did it.
Ouch. And I was like, I'm going to learn how to ride a motorcycle. So I asked the superintendent of our apartment building to show me how it's done. And then I shelved that. Then 5 years later, I had a dream. And not the Martin Luther King type.
No, not that kind.
And that was it. I took a night bus to Kaduna. I was living in Port Harcourt then.
Wow.
Bought a bike, taught myself how to ride it.
Again.
And that was it.
Wow. That's very interesting. Now, people don't understand when I tell them how much of an exciting experience it is to live on 2 wheels. How being on 2 wheels is like you being the actor in the movie instead of the person seeing the movie. So please explain to them all of this, excitement about bikes.
Funny enough, for me, riding motorcycles, I think it's one of those things that joins man or woman with, it shows you the freedom of being a human being. It shows the being at one with nature.
Preach.
When I'm on a motorcycle, I'm at my calmest. Funny enough, cooking and riding motorcycles, even though they seem so different, but the two are extremely therapeutic for me. If I'm sad, I cook. If I'm sad, I ride.
Nice.
If I'm angry, I ride. If I'm angry, I cook. And when I'm happy, I do it all.
Yeah, nice. Let's talk about cooking now. Yes. So, cooking is something that we've enjoyed. It's a passion of yours that we have also enjoyed here. The first time I met you was at the food festival, and we talked about so many things, but at the center of it was the fact that you are Chef KD Prime. You didn't teach yourself to cook, did you?
Yes, I did.
Yes, you did. Once again, I'm jealous. But you also have this finesse about it. It's like you're dancing while you're cooking, and it's a show. It's an entire show. It's just beautiful to see you cooking.
Thank you. Thank
you
so much. That really means a lot.
All of that. It's fascinating. Tell us about that passion.
You know, the first thing I ever cooked in my life was eggs.
Everybody. That's the only thing I can still yet cook.
And then I'm going to say what you guys don't want to hear, but I'm going to say it. Making eggs sexy, even back then, was just a goal. So you could fry normal eggs. You can add sardine to eggs. But then when you now take it to the level of adding dried fish, crayfish, a bit of spring onions, some ugu, or even scent leaf, or even curry leaf, let's add it there as well.
So much you could do.
I think like ta 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 ta. I love it.
See what I'm talking about? It's like a dance, isn't it?
And that's just eggs, though. We haven't talked of all the different soups we have in Nigeria. I'm not the most Afrocentric person in the world.
Yeah, I was going to say, yeah, your dishes aren't absolutely indigenous. They might be, but they have a sense of one continental bit here or there, especially in the presentation and all of that, which is...
Actually, going back to that food festival where we discussed, I made a pot of groundnut soup there.
Okay.
And groundnut soup is one of those soups that not many people know of it. They either think it's Ghanaian or Edo or Hausa. So I decided to make mine on the Edo slant. So periwinkle, dried fish, cow tongue, cow tail, matching ground.
Oh, yeah. That's the shaki.
Periwinkles.
Oh, that's fantastic.
There was a guy that came to my stand, and he had never had it before. And he said he wants to try it out. He bought a plate, tasted it, came back and bought 4.
Wow.
Yeah.
I can imagine. There's also something you guys do not know about Chef KD Prime, and this is the fact that you're an atheist.
Yes. I'm card carrying, but I didn't bring my card with me.
Nah. Now, I had a discussion with one person, and eventually I decided to, well, conclude on the fact that for some people, it's based on life events that actually make them feel a certain way. This person must have been. But in your case, why is the reason that you do not believe in a God?
First things first, I wasn't brought up with religion, per se. I mean, it was the U.S. in the 70s, and my mom is, well, quote unquote, a Muslim. She came from a Muslim family, but in the U.S. at that time, there were no mosques around. And she decided to bring up her kids with just strong morals.
Okay.
And I have never had that connection with any religion or any deity for any reason, because I believe that you are what you are, and you should do well to people. And at the end of the day, if you can look at yourself in the mirror and you're okay, no, not okay. If you're happy with your decisions, I do not believe that if there is a God, that God has a role in our day-to-day lives. I don't.
Then you're agnostic then.
No, agnostics are lazy atheists.
Nerf. Okay.